Today we're pleased to have two special guests at the St Patrick's Lansdowne Club lunch. First of all, could you please welcome Boezeman from the New South Wales Olympic Committee.
Thank you very much, thank you. Thanks.
And I hasten to add that Bonnie's maiden name was McHale. Yes, McHale's Navy, a key part of the Irish Defence Forces.
Yes.
Or something like that.
And I actually brought an Olympian here about 8 years ago. I think a lot of people remember her. She was a swimmer with very long legs. And I said that at that stage my grandparents were from County Mayo. And I went back and sat at the table, and the mayor of County Mayo came up, the real mayor, and said hello, and I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it.
Anything's possible at the St Patrick's Day lunch.
Yeah.
The New South Wales Olympic Committee, Barry O'Farrell isn't proposing New South Wales' own Olympic team for London, is he?
No, he's not. But we normally have a fantastic team that comes from New South Wales. And you know, most people think that the athletes, if I walked around here today at lunch and asked you all a question, who pays for the athletes to go to the World Championships, to go to the trials that are now in Adelaide, or actually to go to the Olympics, most people would say, oh, it's the Institute of Sport or Canberra or the federal government, and that's not the case. The Olympic committees in every state have a little starter budget from the government. Our patron is Barry O'Farrell. We get a starter budget, but it all relies on the corporate community to raise money to send the athletes to the games. We normally have an event the year leading up to the games, which we're going to have in May, and Barry O'Farrell is our patron, and he will be there so that we can raise enough money to send all the athletes you see in the trials going on now, like Ian Thorpe, to be able to get to the Olympics.
Well, there's an obvious segue there. What is this event in May? How can people get there? And if that's not an opening for a plug, I don't know what is.
Yeah. Well, I just thought it was a good opportunity. If you have sport in your heart, you play sport, or you have young kids that one day might want to be Olympian, please come to our dinner. It's in May. I've got invitations. It's an exclusive dinner, but I have invitations to anyone here that would like to come. I'll be around the front of the stage after lunch. I'd love to share them with you.
And that's a dinner with an Olympian at every table?
That's it. Every single table that goes has one Olympian at the table, so you get to meet an Olympian, and you get to meet all the Olympians that are there on the night. That's the send-off dinner in May before they go in July to London.
And talking of Olympians, I've had one at my table.
Yes, we've got a very, very exciting Olympian for you to meet today, just like we did years ago, for you to embrace. She's a dual Olympian. And I'm really happy to say Michael's going to give a bit of an interview to this lady. Her name is Alex Croak.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Alex. I'm used to interviewing captains of industry and the odd politician, but I find Alex a bit intimidating. Alex is a dual Olympian. That doesn't mean she's been to 2 Olympics. She has. Sydney 2000, Beijing 2008, but in Sydney 2000 competed as a gymnast, changed disciplines to diving, competed in Beijing in 2008, and now with her partner Melissa Wu in the 10-metre synchro, doing extremely well, gold medal in the Commonwealth Games, silver medal in the World Championship last year. Could I start by asking you the sort of dedication, the sort of drive to change disciplines to get to the 2008 Olympics after 2000, what drove you?
It was an interesting journey for me in the transition from gymnastics to diving. Because I had competed at an Olympics as a gymnast, I knew the dedication and the requirements required of me to represent Australia at an Olympics. And as soon as I started taking up diving, I had the initial goal of Beijing, and I knew exactly the hours of training and the dedication it would require to get me there. And I just went full steam ahead from 2004 to 2008 and eventually qualified for the team.
And now 2012. Which is harder to land on, the mat or water from 10 metres high?
Well, as a gymnast, you're not landing from 10 metres high to begin with, but I guess just the sheer impact from diving headfirst off something 10 metres high is definitely what hurts the most.
Now, you and Melissa as a team have got great form going into these Olympics. Obviously, there are a lot of Olympic team hopes and expectations. How are you feeling about it?
Yeah, Melissa and I are quite confident that we have our selection trials in 3 weeks' time, just after the swimming in Adelaide. So we're just looking forward to being selected. We have been in really good form on an international stage, most recently coming home with a World Championship silver medal, which puts us in great running for an Olympic medal.
Now, you've been diving, you have recently dived at the London Aquatic Centre. It's way out of my league to understand these things. How did it rate? What's the vibe?
Yeah, the Olympic pool in London is amazing. The British have done a really good job in putting together a wonderful pool. We have no complaints with the venue. It's all beautiful and everything was running smoothly there, which just makes everything more exciting in the lead up to the Olympics.
So if any Lansdowne Club member was after a ticket, if they realise that the action isn't at the beach volleyball, it's actually in the diving pool, they have to catch you before the end of the lunch. I suspect you'll be running out of here very quickly. I might also say that Alex is meant to be training now, but somehow or other she managed to give up training to be at lunch with us today.
Unfortunately, I've got to go straight from here to training, so I don't miss out a session, which is a shame. But yeah, I've got to head off right away.
Just finally, the mood and the selection trials are still underway, but there's a core of people who must be pretty confident. What's the feeling in the team at this stage?
Yeah, the feeling in the diving team is pretty positive. Whenever we go and travel and represent our country as an Australian diving team, everyone gets along really well and we always bring home some good results. So yeah, the vibe in the team's really positive. I think everyone just wants the selections over and done with.
So now we know the 10-metre synchronised diving is now the Lansdowne Club's favourite Olympic sport. For those who aren't there in London, they'll be watching and wishing you the very best from here. Alex, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you for having me today.
Thank you.